welcome to my YouTube channel. This is BNSF 6951, a Vinny Vid Productions video. Hi, I'm Vinny and I will be your host. This is a model railroad channel, so if you enjoy watching scratch builds, layout updates, and rail fanning, and lots of other stuff that pertains to model railroading, this is the channel for you. So if you like what you see, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And after you hit that subscribe button, don't forget to hit that bell. That'll give you a notification of any time I do a video or live stream. Anyhow, I'm going to ask you guys to do one more thing, and that is to give me the thumbs up. That will help my analytics with YouTube. I hope you enjoyed the video, so let's get going. First, a word from my sponsors. This Vinny Vid production brought to you by Yankee Dabbler. For all your model railroad needs, check out Yankee Dabbler. Don't forget, 7% discount with BNSF 6951. And by Highways and Byways, awesome street graphics for your roads and streets on your model railroad layout. If you guys are looking for sophisticated model railroad electronics, Logic Rail Technologies has what you need. For a 5% discount on certain items, use code BNSF 6951. Alright guys, now it's time for the next step on your layout. Trees! I have been dealing with Bob for 7 years now, and he does excellent work on his trees. So if you need some trees on your layout, check out Long Shadow's Trees. Tell him the Cuz sent you. Alright guys, for most of you that have watched my last video know that I made a huge mistake. I somehow or another transposed the measurements I was getting to the wrong sizes of the actual build. Anyhow, what you're looking in front of you now is the revised version of the new build that I am going to be doing. It is considerably smaller. As you can see right here, this length right here is 8 3/4 inches, and this width is 4 1/4 inches, as compared to the 12-inch by 6-inch building that I originally had. Now, as you can see, I already started cutting the arches out because that's probably one of the hardest jobs on this particular build. And here is the final wall, which is this guy right here. And I'm going to show you guys how I do it. Now, if you notice, there's 3 blades here. These blades are brand new, but I'm not going to use them to cut this stuff out because the actual point of the blade is worn down, and I need to have the point in order to do these archways. So, with that being said, I have a couple boxes of these, number 11 blades. We're also going to be using straight edge. This is number 100 grit sandpaper. Also, I'm going to be using my emery board. And that's about it, really. So anyhow, with all that being said, let me get all set up here. Let me move this out of the way, and we'll continue on with this video. Stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly. Alright guys, we're going to start this off by changing out this blade. Like I said, they're new, and I'm not going to throw them away because I could use them for other projects. That's not too critical to have that very pointy edge on there. So I'm going to go ahead and replace this blade, and just a brand new one. And the reason why it's got to be so pointy is because we have to follow. Let me see, let me get you in a little closer here. We need to follow my arch. And that's got to be done with a really pointy blade. So, with that being said, back this out a little bit. Now, it doesn't matter which way you go, one way or the other way. I was doing it both ways, and they both work just fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from where the semicircle starts, right there. And I'm just going to go just a little bit past that, and very, very lightly I'm going to follow my line. And you have to be really patient for this because it does take a lot of patience to get this cut done. You try and stay on the line so all your arches are almost exactly the same. I won't say they will be the same because this is a hand-built kit, and I can only go so far with the tools that I have. You guys that have 3D printers, on the other hand, you guys can do whatever. Alright, and again, when I get to this side, I will go a little bit past the horizontal line right there. Okay, so basically I'm just going to keep doing that, and I'm going to do that on all three, and then I will cut the legs, if you want to call them that. Then I'll cut the legs out. The reason I'm going to do that is because right now it's a sturdy piece of plastic. If I start cutting out the centers, everything starts to come wobbly and wiggly and all of that, so I just want to do it this way. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one on camera, and I'll probably speed it up a bit, and then I'll do the other two off camera, and then we'll kind of fit it into the building and see how it looks. So here we go. So each cut we're going to do now is going to get a little bit harder on the pressure. The first one was just barely just scribing a line to follow, because now is the important part where you start to go deeper. And notice I'm turning the plastic, I'm not turning the knife. And I have to keep moving here so it stays in frame. I'm not really watching. As you can see, I already had 2 owies. And I was getting so excited with the other build because I was working on the roofs, and that was like the last hard part I was going to do. And with this one here, now I need to cut all the windows out and all that kind of good stuff. Now, the cut is not going to be a totally clean cut. That's why you got the sandpaper, and this does a real good job of smoothing it out, as you can see on, well, I'll show you here in a little bit on the structures, the ones that I already cut out. All right, you can tell in the back how much we're not even close to being through yet. All right, so we're going to just keep going at this, and I'll have fun doing it. All right, having fun. Like I said, each pass I get heavier and heavier with the pressure. All right, guys, you can see that takes a lot of time and effort to get these arches done, and I still need to cut the vertical lines out. But like I said, I'm going to do all the other arches first, and then cut the arches, cut the legs out, if you want to call them that. Anyhow, you saw how long that took, and that was, I kind of speeded it up a little bit. I think it was 2 or 3 times speed. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and we're going to fit it into the building and make sure that I have a square building, and then we're going to do the inside walls. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in a little while. All right, guys, as you can see, all my arches are cut out now, and like I told you earlier, it's not going to be a clean cut. I'm going to have to do some sanding to get that done. So now we're just going to go ahead and cut these horizontals out. And basically just a straight edge. And remember, you're only going to the horizontal line here. Don't go all the way up, because if you do, you'll mess up your whole project. So gotta get right on my line so it matches up with the cut I already have. Again, just gonna go slight cuts until you start getting through. You can feel when it starts getting into the plastic. And my ruler is moving. See, I can feel already. It's getting a little harder to go through. There we go. Now, I will be sanding these down, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to reinforce them before I actually sand them down. Right now, the object is just to get the arches done. So, again, light cuts until you start getting into the plastic. Then as each pass, you just get a little heavier on the pressure until you get all the way through, like that. There you go. There's one. All right, I'm going to do the rest off camera, and I'll bring you back when that's done. All right, guys. 45 minutes to 50 minutes actual time, and 5 new blades, and I got my arches done. Next step we're going to do is we're going to reinforce these legs because they are really flimsy, even though I'm using a heavier plastic for this build. So what I'm going to do, and it's going to look good because these are all columns that are going to have bricks on them. So I'm just going to make them look a little bit more hefty than what they actually are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this number 115 Evergreen styrene strip. It's 15 thousandths by 100 thousandths. And it just happens to fit right in my legs, if you want to call them that. And I'm going to have to sand these down. I will admit that. But that's what we're going to do next. Is we're going to reinforce these before we do any sanding, because I'm afraid that by just going one way or the other, it might break them. So I'm just going to rough cut these, and we're going to start doing these now on the outside of this wall. They all get the column look. When it goes on the inside, only these two get the column look. And I'll explain to you why here when we start putting this building together. So that's 2, and that is 3 right there. And I'm going to have to go to the hobby shop today. And hopefully they got some of this in stock. And like I said, cutting it with a blade, you're not going to get any smooth cuts. That's why there's going to be some sanding required. Today I'm going to be using this Polar glue. I like it. It seems to work just fine. So we'll just keep using this for now. It's what I've been using so far in this build. So clean off the end. All right. And so now what we're going to do is just go ahead and put some of this glue on here. And then just take these guys and just go past top and bottom. And what this is also going to do, besides giving the legs a little bit of strength, it's going to be more of a good straight edge. So, all right, there's one. Next step on this is going to be the interior walls that we're going to have to start getting prepared for windows and doors and stuff like that. And I'll tell you, these arches, even though they're exactly the same as the ones I built on the other one, they look better. They don't look as, I don't know, bulky, if you want to call it that. I don't know exactly what to say, but they definitely look better. You gotta keep finessing with this stuff. Make sure you get it where you want it, because when you sand it, you're just gonna sand it to the new piece that you just put on there. All right, number 3. eyeball it, make sure it looks straight to you, and you'll see what this looks like after we sand it. It's going to look really good. And then finally, the last piece here. Now, I will admit that this piece right here is just a little bit bigger than the other, but like I had mentioned so many times, I'm not good at math, and so I just pretty much basically relied on whatever division I could do by the amount of feet this was this way. So each one of these wound up to be 16 plus feet, and I just went with the 16 feet, so this one here is a little bit bigger. But once it's together, you're not going to notice that. Alright, so the next thing is we're just going to let these all dry up, and then we'll snip them down, and I will add 2 more on the inside for these guys right here. So stay tuned, and we will be back shortly. Alright guys, as you can see, I got pretty much some 3 semicircles that look halfway decent so far. And as I showed you guys earlier, that I had put the extra pieces along here, and then on the back side I just did these 2 center ones. And the reason why is because when this goes into the building, it's going to go in between the sidewalls, and I already have the column look on the other part, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. Next thing we're going to do right now is to sand these down, because they are kind of rough still, even though they look pretty good, but they in person they don't look so good. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and smooth the surface out like this, because anytime you do a cut, you're going to wind up with some sort of a ridge. So you can do that on both sides. Make sure you get rid of that ridge. Make sure when you do something like this, got some weaker parts, hold it with your finger across, just so it doesn't move. Because like I said, these are pretty thin. They're actually 16 scale inches. Alright, we're going to do this side now. There's going to be a brick facade that's going over this, but you still need to have a smooth surface for the brick to adhere to, so that's why I'm doing all of this. And the more attention you take to detail, the better your model is going to come out. And I just wish I didn't screw up as badly as I did. Anyhow, alright, so now we got pretty much a smooth surface along here. Next thing I'm going to do is going to take my 100 grit paper, and we're just going to do this inside of here, and that'll give us a nice round edge. And you can see already on this one that it's a lot cleaner than the one next to it. And so we'll just do that on all of these. And then I'll show you how we're going to sand down the legs. You want to try and get as good of an arch as you possibly can, and that means getting down here in the corner to get that arch look, and you need to do that too. So that's what we're going to do right here. And again, you need to be careful because these guys are really thin. I think they're like 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters. I didn't measure them, but they're not very big. Well, let me tell you right now, they are 2.5 millimeters this way. So yeah, so you need to be careful with them. Alright, and then finally this guy here, we'll do it with him. And you can see that it's not actually right into the corner right there. And so you'll do that right there to get it to form into the leg part. And then you can see right here, doesn't look very round. So we're going to go ahead and get that guy right there. And we got to get a little deeper on this side right here, so we'll just concentrate right there on that corner. There is no corner in a circle, silly. Well, now those arches look really good. What do you think? So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sand these down, make them pretty much perfect. And the way we're going to do that is because they are so flimsy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my table to do this, and I'm just going to put this on top of the table like that, and then that'll give me the reinforcement I need. And I'm just going in one direction, And I'll do that on each one of these. And then after I do the first time, I'll see what they look like. And if I need to do more, then I will do more. And then, of course, we're going to reverse them and do the opposite side also. All right, and then this guy. All right, so we just did it that way. Now we're going to flip them over, and we're going to do the opposite side. Doesn't take very much, and there's two different grits on this emery, and I'm using the rough side right now, and I forgot what the actual grit number is. I know it's pretty stiff. I think it was actually stiffer than that. All right, and then this one. I'm just looking for a uniformity as far as the thickness goes, and you can see that archway looks pretty darn good for a hand-cut archway. Anyhow, I'm going to put this in the building right now. Temporarily, I'm going to tape it in just like I did with the other side, and let's see what this is all going to look like. So stay tuned, and we will be right back. All right, guys, I'm going to give you a quick spin around here and show you what this four walls are going to look like at this point. And this is exactly the way prototype is. Two arches on one side, and then you got three arches on one side here. This side here, whoops, this side, sorry. This side here is actually a track side. This is where that angle wall would go, if you guys remember the other build. But anyhow, so far it's looking pretty good. I'm going to take it off the turntable right now, and I'm going to put it up on my dealing bobber right here. And let's see if we get a straight building. And I use my grid on here quite a bit. And let's see, let's put him all the way down to the bottom here so we can get an exact measurement. And we'll put him all the way out to the line on there, and to the line right there. And this space on this side looks pretty good. I'm using the long wall for the length, just to let you guys know that in case you didn't know. So I am perfect on this line right here. Let me see if I can get you a little better shot. And can this go up a little bit? There you go. So I have just, I see this moved over here, so let's get him back over. I think this is looking pretty square if you ask me, but then again, I'm kind of biased. But yeah, there you go. May have to recheck my measurements here because this does look a little like it's going in on this side. I check the length on that wall. Oops. Come on, Vinny. Be nice. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you just have it taped together because I don't really have good corners. So I really can't tell. See, by just making that adjustment right there, now this side looks good. All right, guys, the next step we're going to do is start planning out the windows and doors for this project. They are going to be smaller windows, of course, because the building is smaller. So this is what I've done so far. This is going to be one of the inside walls, the interior walls, and you can see I got a bunch of lines on there. Well, this top line right here represents the top of the windows right here. And this represents the top of the windows and doors down at the bottom. Now these windows are 5 foot by 10 foot. So I marked off the 10-foot marks. These lines that go down here are the center lines of all the windows. And so now these windows, like I said, are 5 feet this way and 10 feet this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut it smaller because I don't want to run into the same problem I had with the previous build of having to add stuff to the windows. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and draw this out just to show you guys how this all comes together. Now this is going to be the bottom of the windows, and I'll show you what that's going to look like here in a few minutes. Alright, so now I got the top and the bottom. So now I'm going to draw on the sides. For that I'm going to use my little square dealie so I get them perfectly square to plastic. Get down there. And so now what we got to do is put a line here, and then we'll do the same for all the rest of them. And then I'll show you what the just put the windows on top of all these spaces right here, and you'll see what they look like. I'm trying to make these just a tad smaller. Wait a minute, something not right. Yeah, that's right. Too many lines. Alright, and there. And then there. Now the bottoms I already did. The only one I had not done is this one down here because there is a window down here. And we're going to make this guy 4.5 feet also. Then we measure 10 feet this way. When I cut these, I will cut them on the inside of the lines. So, all right. Alright, so now I got everything drawn out the way I want it, and I'm going to show you how this is all going to look on here. Here are my windows, and again these are Grant Line windows. I didn't think I was going to get the 3 doors down here like in the prototype, but it just barely fits, so I'm going to be happy with that. Okay, so that is what one wall is going to look like. I can't lift it up. Maybe I can do this. So yeah, that's going to be one interior wall. Now, I'm not going to cut any of this on camera because it's going to take way too long, but this is the second wall I got to do, and this is going to get 4 windows here, 1 window here, and a door down here. And just to show you the difference in sizes between what I did and what I'm doing now, it's a little bit of a difference, I think. What do you think? Anyhow, I'm using thicker plastic, like I said earlier in this video, to prevent the warping that happened on the other building. Anyhow, I'm going to draw out the windows the same exact way on this one as I did on that one, and we'll continue on from there. I am also gluing the basic 4 walls together. So let me continue on that, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, there's one thing I always do. Once my 4 walls are glued together, I always do a diagonal measurement to see if it's square. And that's an old carpenter's trick that they use when they build stuff to make sure it's square. So right now I go from this corner to this corner, and I have 245 millimeters. So now we're going to do the same thing from this one to this one, and we should have the same exact measurement. Holy mackerel, look at that, right on the money, 245 millimeters. I done good. Anyhow, let's get on with the rest of this. We have a little bit more to show you, and then we'll call this video good. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, this is an overall look of what the building is going to look like. These 4 walls right here are permanently attached right now. And I'm just test fitting the interior walls. This is my angle wall right here, and it is on a 45-degree angle. So what I did to support that was I put that little brace back there. I'm trying to build this building without any supports, noticeable supports, just in case Roy might want to put some details inside here. Anyhow, I think this is going to conclude this video for now. I'm going to go ahead and cut the windows out and all that stuff. I need to wait for the brick facade before I can actually put these 2 guys in place. I need to cut the windows out and add the brick facade. And the funny thing about the brick is I can't get the same one, so I ordered another one that might even be closer to the color that I need. So that should be here any day. But until then, this will be the last video on this until I can get more done. Anyhow, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video, and as always, your questions, comments, input, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all, folks. BNSF 6951 out.